through Costa Kumatarakis and John Costas in their Class S20 Bridgestone Toyota Conquest.
Same spot after the cars have been through, and then we'll see where the lines are and what they've cleared, but it certainly makes a difference.
Habich was first on the road, clearing the loose stuff in stage 9. On board with Kuhn, who is running second on the road, you clearly see Habich's tyre tracks on the road ahead. With just a single track swept, Kuhn would not benefit from road position as much as the cars further down the order. But just how much does sweeping really help? According to the stage times, the loose surface did not hamper Habich very much, as he shared the stage win with Berger, who was 6th on the road. Kuhn was next fastest, 1 second off the pace, but he was about to face other concerns. By stage 9, early rally leaders Lawrence and Vermeulen had unfortunately departed already. They were pushing hard through a series of fast sweeps in stage 8, lost control and crashed into a bank. We hadn't seen much of Van der Walt and Burrows on this event. They lost time on stage 2 when the Palopay ingested water twice and suffered from a recurring misfire. A broken sideshaft later in the stage would scupper any chances of a podium finish. Damso started the day in 5th, but once again it was apparent that he was still not confident about the handling of the car, backing off where he would normally be flat out. It's a very unpleasant way to drive, but Damso was calling on all his experience to resist the temptation to go too fast. He knew that he could score valuable points if he could make it to the finish.
Our 4 cars have been through now in the very same spot we sat earlier, and you can see this has all been cleared out. That's where the gravel was, and there's obviously a lot more traction here than there is there, and that's what all the fuss is about.
In the Sasol Volkswagen service area, it's a case of worried faces all round. Kuhn's car had begun to misfire on the open section after stage 9, and the diagnosis was not good. The car had bent a valve, a problem that could not be solved in the time available. With his hands tied, team manager Johan Evertsen made the decision to send Kuhn into the 8-kilometer stage 10 anyway. No such problems for Damso, who had watched the rally slowly come to him. Waiting at the start of stage 10, he could only have been thanking his lucky stars as he and Paisley discussed the Volkswagen's impending fate.
That's why I want to know those things, because now I can attack a bit more, you see? Only when he left there.
The Marshal appeared to have had enough of the heat by now, and her enthusiasm for the event was waning as she waited for the Toyota to get going. Damso and Paisley completed their final preparations before starting the stage, and we joined them for a feel of high-speed sugar-fueled driving. Keenan Hodgson's Golf was still running and would make it through the stage, but it was sounding terribly sick. The end of its special stage performances had arrived. Damso was not hanging around in stage 10 despite the jitters at the rear end of the Run-X, but driving at this pace meant that he was open to mistakes. An overshoot on a tight right-hander left him distinctly unhappy, as the sign language illustrated. The Run-X's overshoot could possibly have cost the pair their first stage win, as they finished only 14 seconds down on Habich, who won the stage. However, it was still good enough to move them up to 2nd overall.
Sorrow, 4 stages since we last did a wrap, and at that stage we had 4 cars within a few seconds of each other, and it seems to have all gone a bit pear-shaped.
It seems like there's drama on this event every year. Enzo blew his engine, Ergen blew his engine, and at this point in time Habich's leading by just over a minute from Surge, and I think it must be like Christmas pursuits because the car was never right for the event and he's sitting in second place, which makes a hell of a difference from last year where he didn't finish. You still have Charge in third place, and Skarkberger has also come to light this morning and he's closing fast on Charge, so that could be a dice for third spot. But what's amazing in this event, it's one of the rallies with the smoothest surfaces, but the attrition rate is just amazing every year. And we can't quite work out why, but certainly it's taken the sting out of the rally. And from here on, I think we'll just see people trying to consolidate.
This reliability issue, does it come back to what we were chatting about earlier? Maybe preparation's not quite up to scratch as it should be?
Maybe that's the case. It is the first event every year and teams might not be ready. But of course, it could also be a different scenario where it's a very, very fast rally, very smooth. So the guys are probably using the engines and especially revving higher than they would on other events. So maybe that's one of the causes, but it certainly is out of proportion to other events. So it's not something that's new to you, but you've been leading a rally again and out because of mechanical failure. What happened?
Yeah, sorry, it was a big disappointment. We were just hoping to endorse our performance, get to the end, and on the open section on the way to the service area, the engine just started misfiring. And had a quick look, couldn't really find a problem, and as we started the next stage, just major noise in the front of the engine. So it looks like 2 valves broke off, and that's the end of our event, which is a great pity.
Why is the attrition rate so high on this event?
Well, the engines do work hard, the temperatures are high. I mean, I saw quite a few red lights on my dash on those long 30-kilometer stages, and I've been seeing oil temperatures of 180 all the time. So I think that could be one of the things. And then maybe it's the first round of the season, everything is brand new and just needs to be sorted first, and sometimes we're testing new parts on the first event. That's what I'd say.
Bad luck, better luck next time.
Thanks.
Anyone up to now that's impressed you with their driving?
Well, Nick Ryan is now sitting in 5th place, which for him is quite amazing. He's come from nowhere and he's bought the Subaru and he's running up at the top guys. And it's nice to see youngsters coming through the field and having new names at the top of the leaderboard. It's, we're getting a bit tired of all the same old faces, but certainly nice to see him around.
We're with Michael Houghton, leading Class A at the A5 at the moment. Michael, how's it going so far?
It's going all right, thanks. We're just trying to keep it on the road. The guys are falling by the wayside. The heat, it's very hot. The road conditions are very slippery. We've actually run out of tyres, so thank goodness we had a good day yesterday. So we're just pacing it today and just trying to stay ahead of my brother.
And Robin, how's it going in the N3 Runex?
Very well. Yesterday we decided on a very conservative approach. First time the car's been out, so just get some stage mileage on it. Dropped a little bit of time in our class, but today we decided to attack a little bit, and at the moment I think we're about 10 seconds behind first place in our class. So taking big time off Junior, because although he's in a lower class, he does take championship points away from us, so we aim on catching him still today.
And how many times has Shaw been off the road?
Actually, surprisingly today, since we started pushing and he's getting a feel for the type of roads, not once. So it's been pretty good today. Today it seems to have all come together. Car's working nicely.
That's good.
And yeah, everything seems well. So let's go for that Class 1, hopefully, in the debut.
Yeah, we're with Wiley Harrington. Wiley, old veteran of rallying and racing, and back in it this year and leading Class N3.
Yes, well, after 31 years in motorsport, I've decided I want to do a full season driving. I've always been in and out and do 3-4 events a year. And I was very aggressive in starting and doing a full season. I was destined from the first event to do it. And it's been going very well yesterday. Unfortunately, today we lost 2 minutes. But the car's fully fixed now. So after the lunch break, we should be able to go again.
And I believe this Renault of yours was built in record time, just a week.
Yes, we were going to drive a Japanese-made car. Unfortunately, there was no engine and gearbox. It didn't come to the party, and I was actually considering a Renault before I considered driving a Toyota. And when the Toyota deal didn't come together, I went and I bought a Renault off the floor, bought it in a week, and I'm here, leading the class.
Craig Trott and Gerard Snyman were favourites to lift the Class A6 title in their Team Total Toyota Corolla after finishing second last year. With a thin class field, they never had to extend themselves too much to stay ahead. The Costas were running in a strong 10th spot overnight, but problems saw them drop out of the top 10 on day 2. Rocky Reinecker and Andre Pfeiffer had swapped their Golf for a Subaru Impreza in the off-season and were taking no risks as they familiarized themselves with the vehicle. Their approach paid dividends as they were now in the top 10. Local regional competitors Paul Gouveia and Schalk van Heerden had also worked their way up into the top 10 in their old Sharpline Nissan Sentra. Now, in their second year behind the wheel of the Auto Services Subaru Impreza, Mally Saville and Alec Harris were in the top 15. But they weren't likely to give their panel beater sponsor any work. Likewise, the Rally Chick sisters, Lola and Megan Verlark, in their Subaru, they also enjoyed a steady drive to take 15th overall. The Sasol Volkswagen development squad of Nkosi Nzimande and Fani Maiwa were running on the fringes of the top 20, but driving steadily in their City Golf. They kept it on the road on the slippery surface to eventually finish 4th in class.